It's the show that's barely good enough for the internet. It is the Mike Sasson Show, broadcasting from beautiful Mr. Small's studio at the Mr. Small's Theater in beautiful Millvale, Pennsylvania. We are always proud to be from the greatest place on earth, Millvale, Pennsylvania. My name is Mike Sasson. I am the host of this wondrous journey into the minds of two people that just think about things that other people go, you know what, that's a waste of time. But not for us. Over there is the greatest producer in the history of internet radio, first ballot Internet Radio Hall of Famer, Alex Clemens. If you ever want to visit the Internet Radio Hall of Fame, it is currently outside a deserted Ponderosa in Cheyenne, Wyoming. It's a beautiful place. Make sure to bring some money to get something for the kids. Today, we're going to be talking about a very expensive, but I don't know yet, of a good purchase that I just made. Also, Alex, who is a lover of body art, has a new tattoo, and we'll be discussing that. Also, Alex's mom gave me a very nice present, and I listened to some comedy albums from 1960, so that should be fun. I'll tell you what I think of that. Also, in Fresh Eyes, we will listen to the people that pretty much invented heavy metal music. I am, of course, talking about Black Sabbath. Alex will tell us what she thinks. Somehow she's making it all about facial hair. I don't know how she's going to do it, but that's why she has that incredible talent. Also, a kid who's a sophomore in high school who's a quarterback might have the greatest name in the history of quarterbacks. So we'll be talking about that. It's all beautiful. And make sure that you comment away here on our Facebook page. And even if it's after the fact, like for instance, someone liked the fact that we had a story last week and we made a comment about the fact that there are no fat horses.
Yeah, that was actually someone I met on Tinder.
There you go.
Yeah, that's the only reason I am not a huge fan of like meeting people on Tinder and then becoming friends with them on Facebook or something, because then they are subject to watch the show, and some of them do, and then I'm like, But I actually like that guy. He just sends me pictures of Alaska.
That's cool.
Right?
Yeah, but he said name a horse. Trigger. Boom. Secretariat. There's two horses.
Means naming fat horses.
That's what I'm saying. Name a fat horse. You can't, but I thought he was like asking, should I name like any other horses?
Yeah, I'm sure that you could name horses.
Yeah, I can name several horses. Mr. Ed. Who's the most famous horse? It'd have to be like a sport horse, maybe like Secretariat. That'd be the most famous horse.
You think?
Yeah, Mr. Ed was pretty famous in the day.
I mean, I really don't know many horses.
You don't know many horses?
No, I haven't had the pleasure of
meeting horses.
Meeting them. I've gone horseback riding before, so I guess
I've never been horseback riding. I've never wanted to subject an animal to me being on top of it.
I was gonna say I don't think that you should.
Yeah, there's got to be a weight limit to where it's like, you know what? Just don't let the horse be. You know,
but let it live a little longer, Mike.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this question: have you ever been to horse racing?
Horse racing? Yeah. I have not. No.
I had a buddy in college. His name's Jamie. He actually just celebrated his birthday. Lives up in upstate New York now.
Happy birthday, Jamie!
There you go. And he actually was a big fan of the ponies. Still is. Loves the horses. The way I follow football, he follows horses. Like he could tell you the trainers, he could tell you what's great about them, what's bad about them, all this kind of stuff. And so he actually took me one time, because he always would take me to Foxwoods near Yukon.
Okay.
That's like the big casino.
Ooh.
I don't really know how to gamble, and I had no money, but he would always say, "Hey, I need someone to come with," and I'm like, "I don't want to go," and he goes, "I'll pay for the buffet." So I was like, "Okay, fine, I'll go." So he took me to the Triple Crown race, the last of the Triple Crown race in New York City, or near New York City. I think it's Belmont, which was one of the coolest sporting events I've ever been to. Because at the time, the horse had already run 2 legs of the Triple Crown. So we were there, and there was a chance he was going to win the 3rd race. Now, if you've ever been... they say that first and foremost, if you ever have an opportunity to go to the Kentucky Derby, go to the Kentucky Derby.
I mean, just because you get to wear a hat. Even if you don't do anything else, you get to wear a cool hat.
Would you dress up if you went to the Kentucky?
Hell yeah.
That's one of the things. A lot of celebrities love to go to the Kentucky Derby and like dress to the nines.
To the nines.
Yeah, and but they say if you go into the infield of the Kentucky Derby is one of the greatest booze fests ever. That and going to a NASCAR race. They say go into the infield of a NASCAR race like 2 days in advance. It's like it's like tailgating times 1,000. People are just getting insanely blitzed. So, and then you get a mint julep. That's the other thing you get at the. Have you ever had mint julep?
Yeah.
I believe I've had
refreshing.
one. Are they refreshing? I don't remember mine being refreshing.
Just the name is even refreshing. Mint julep.
I know. It sounds like it doesn't sound like a drink you'd get at like a rundown like scuzzy bar. You'd be like, "Hey, give me a mint julep." Like that's
fuck you, man.
Yeah, that wouldn't be something that you'd get at an old man's bar. But yeah, again, if you comment, we will always talk to you about it.
And that was the point of that.
And I think somebody actually asked us, "Can my cat be my spirit animal?" Yeah.
Wait.
What was it?
What? It was a soulmate question.
Yeah.
And it was like,
can something be my soulmate? And I went, sure, why not?
I'd have to find it.
Yeah. Find it or don't. Those are the two. What you can do.
Right.
Anyways, if you're listening to this, thank you very much. You might be listening to us on the River's Edge at www.riversedgepgh.com, which is where you get the best local music around Pittsburgh, plus the best talk like the Mike Sasson Show. Also, you could be listening to us on the TuneIn Radio app, which means you could be listening to us anywhere on the planet Earth. So thank you to all of our overseas listeners, which there are overseas listeners. We have seen the numbers. We have overseas listeners. Also, you might be listening to us on any of the podcast formats, Google Play, iTunes, or SoundCloud. Or you might be listening to us on YouTube, or you might be watching us on Facebook Live. So any way that you're watching the Mike Sasson Show, we really, really do appreciate it. So to get going, again, thank you very much for everyone who comments. And thank you very much to Alex's mom. I guess she's cleaning out her closet or getting rid of some records.
For the past year, probably longer than that, she has a ton of records because she's collected like all of my families, like all my cousins and aunts and stuff like that.
Okay.
And for the past year, she's been going through every single one. So she's listened to every single one, every single song.
Really?
On all of them, even Christmas albums.
And then what, is she selling them or what's she doing?
And then so she decides if she wants them, if she likes more than one song. That's kind of her deciding factor, unless it's like a really special album. But if she likes more than one song, then she keeps it. If not, she's been like selling them back to record stores and stuff like that.
Now, she mentioned last week that she might have the Eagles' greatest hits on vinyl. Did she turn out to have the Eagles' greatest hits on vinyl?
I don't know if she found it.
Okay.
I don't think she really looked for it. I'd have to ask her again.
Okay.
She's been doing stuff, you know. She's a busy woman.
Yeah, busy woman. But thank you. She actually gave me 2 of the albums. Comedy albums. One was a Bill Cosby album, which, full disclosure, I tried to listen to, but every time every punchline I've been like, "Shut up, you're a rapist." That'd be like every time.
It's hard, That's what my mom kind of, I think, said a similar thing, but she was like, it's good. It's just, it sucks because
every time you think about it, like this guy's a degenerate scumbag, and I don't want to laugh at anything he's saying.
Right.
But the second one was not done by a degenerate scumbag, and that was Bob Newhart.
Yeah.
It was actually the second. I did some research because, again, that's me. I do research. I'm an idiot. It's the album that I got from your mom was A Button Down Mind Strikes Back, because the initial album was A Button Down Mind, and that actually still to this day is one of the top 20 best-selling comedy albums of all time by Bob Newhart. Both were done in 1960. So that's the other thing you always read about, like the Beatles, that they had like 9 albums in like 3 years. Like they just kept churning out albums. Whereas like nowadays, if you're like a big time like musician, you produce an album like once every decade, and people think that whoa, hold on, you're kind of going nuts. But yeah, he did that. And one of the things that I was listening to, it was interesting, was when I initially listened to it, it was one of those things where it just seemed a little dated. It's like when you watch like an old black and white movie.
Right.
And you're just you're like, oh, there's no color, and, the sound stinks and all this other kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But then eventually I was like, okay, I'm going to fight through this, and I'm going to figure out, and I'm going to just kind of go through the whole thing.
Yeah.
And the more I listened to it, the more I was like, you know what? Even though this was done in 1960, this is pretty progressive kind of avant-garde comedy.
Really?
And you really don't think of that because Bob Newhart, I knew Bob Newhart from, he had two sitcoms, one in the 70s, one in the 80s, both in which he played kind of like a very buttoned down, kind of like very reserved man.
Yeah.
He was Buddy the Elf's dad, or not dad, but like Buddy the Elf's like guardian and elf. Like he's been around. But he wasn't somebody that you would sit there and go, oh, yeah, this guy's, out there. But if you really listen to what he did, which was very interesting, the way he would do comedy would be he would set up a premise. Mm-hmm. Like, for instance, one of the first ones on the album was he set up the premise that, and this was 1960s, so most of the men had been in the Army, either World War II or Korea, because at the time there was, like, you had to be drafted. And so he sat there and he was talking about that, computers are taking over the Army and all this other kind of stuff. And then he said, well, one job that they'll never be able to get rid of is the foot soldier. And little did he know about drones and stuff. But he then sat there and he goes, and I bet you there's one job of a foot soldier that has always been there, and that's the griper, meaning the guy that always complains.
Yeah.
So then he talked about that there must have been a griper in every American war. I bet you there was a griper in the American Revolution. And so then what he did was he did about a 5-minute monologue in which he put himself in the premise, and he became that American revolutionary soldier complaining about George Washington, complaining about Ben Franklin, complaining about all this kind of stuff. And now, was it hilariously funny? It was fine. It was very 1960 comedy. The people in the album were going nuts. They were going insane.
I think they kind of have to if he's recording an album, right?
Yeah. But that's one of the most interesting comedy albums of all time was Andrew Dice Clay called the night the laughter died.
Yeah.
He actually recorded himself bombing.
Oh.
He recorded himself absolutely. It was at like 2 a.m. at a club in New York, and you actually hear people leaving. Like you hear like tables like the people like actually walking out, and he's in front of like 10 people.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, again, very interesting comedy. And then another one, which in my opinion really solidified in my mind just the genius of Richard Pryor, was his first one, which was called Still Smoking. And in it, again, doing research, it was done on a Thursday night in 1971 at the Improvisation in New York City. So you're thinking Thursday night, New York City, this is the coolest audience you could possibly find. These are beatniks, these are hippies, these are the people that... And at the time, Richard Pryor had completely thrown away any sort of success that he had back in the 60s. He had gotten to Las Vegas, all this kind of stuff.
Yeah. And
now he was completely reinventing himself. And so he gets in front of these people and absolutely freaks them out. He absolutely, like, it was stone silence for mostly about 45 minutes. It was incredible. Like, he sat there and, like, one of the bits he's just started out, he just went in and goes, yeah, I've sucked dick. This is 1971.
Yeah.
The Stone...
No one's expecting that.
No one's expecting a guy on stage to be, like, admitting that he's performed fellatio on a man. That's never... Like, people... And so the thing is like, if you can freak somebody out in New York City in 1971... you're a freaky guy. But then going back to Bob Newhart, like I was doing research on this thing, and he talked about that like in 1960, this was out there. The fact that there weren't standard punchlines, the fact that it wasn't like everybody was like the take your wife please, like the, everything was boom, every 10 seconds, a one-liner.
Yeah.
And him setting up these premises and doing these characters and stuff like that was just thought to be just like completely out there. And it was actually the funny thing, he does the interview, goes, the people that like kind of propelled, and he put himself and like Lenny Bruce and all these people in the category of what like comedy was doing was the college kids.
Yeah.
They were sitting there. So it's weird how to think that like in 1960, this album was something that like somebody in like, a university dorm room would be listening to, be like, oh, you got to listen to this guy. This guy's wild. This guy's incredible. But it's weird how comedy can kind of like there's a special that just came out on HBO in which there wasn't an audience, and it was kind of very, kind of artsy, and people are like, what is this? What is that? And the funny thing is like, you know what, in in 20 years, this might be standard. You never know. Or we might be, this guy might turn out to be the next Bob Newhart. You never know.
Bob Newhart.
But I just, again, wanted to bring it up that I did listen to the albums. And so thank you very much to Alex's mom, Kathy. And I thought that was very nice of her.
She's a nice woman. She brought me home today. She texted me today and said, hey, we're on our way home. We brought you bacon-wrapped pickles. And I was like, hell yeah, Mom.
Yes.
Thank you.
Which I've had bacon-wrapped pickles.
I am so excited to go home.
Anything bacon-wrapped. If you said, hey, I bought you home a bacon-wrapped dog turd, I'd be like,
all right, I'll try it.
I'll try it. Yeah, if someone would wrap bacon wrap. Another thing that I had to try, and if you're on looking at me live on Facebook Live, you see that I'm drinking out of a mug. But this isn't just any mug.
Please tell me what it is and why it's so special.
It's not special. It's a sign of me being stupid. It's a Yeti mug. Do you know anything about Yeti?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think?
Keep your drink cold or hot
but
very long.
But they're the super drink of all time.
I thought you were gonna. I thought about it for a second because I was like, he means like the cup, not like Yetis. Do I know anything about like?
Yeah. Do you know anything
Yetis?
about the abominable snowman? Do you know anything about those people?
No.
Well, just to give you a full story about this, at my job.
Okay.
I work with two other gentlemen who are Yeti fanatics. Like they legitimately spend probably in the neighborhood of $200 to $300 a month on Yeti products.
Hot damn! What are they doing?
Buying anything. If they see Yeti coming out with a new product or whatever. And so I didn't have anything Yeti. I was just like, this is.
You didn't have anything Yeti.
I didn't have any Yeti type products. And so, well, they sat there and they said, well, you got to get something Yeti. We're it's so stupid. You don't have anything Yeti. And I'm like, oh, Yeti's stupid. I don't want any of it. And so one time they sat there and went, well, you should get something with your college on it. And I go, well, if there's something with UConn on it, I'll get it. And so the guy went online and go, here, there's these two cups you could get. One that says UConn, one that has like the dog logo on it. You said you'd get them if it had it. So I'm like, crap. So I had to get it. And
I feel like you could still just be like, no, man.
Yeah, I could have, but I just did feel bad that I just didn't have any Yeti. So as you can see, it does have like the Husky Dog logo on it.
Yeah.
2 cups. How much do you think they cost?
$200.
No, they were less than that.
$160.
$100.
Oh, damn.
$100 for 2 mugs, though.
Yeah. Is it worth it?
I don't know. This is the first time.
Is it cold or hot?
It was lukewarm. It was just so it's pretty pointless at this point.
So you have
but I've never had a cup that says, first off, I'm supposed to register it so it has a 5-year warranty. I'm registering a cup. That's a weird thing. And then here's another. I can put it like a sticker.
Oh, so you're like a legit Yeti
Yeah,
fanatic.
I can do that.
That's a cool sticker, though.
Yeah, I should do something with it. And then I could get gear. I can get Yeti shirts.
Who's doing that?
I don't know. Apparently.
They do have coolers that I really want, though.
Yeah, they do.
Their coolers seem pretty legit.
Okay, here's what I have to do. The Rambler, it's called the Rambler, 20 and 30 tumblers. Key features: made with durable kitchen grade 8 stainless steel. Double wall vacuum insulation keeps drinks cold or hot to the last drop. No sweat design keeps fingers dry on frostbite. BPA free. I don't even know what that means.
Good. It's good.
Okay, good. Care instructions: wash before initial use. Dough. For those cleaning, remove gasket from lid. Use only mild dish soap. Dishwasher safe. Do not place in freezer. Warning: do not place in microwave. Fire and personal injury can occur. Yeah, it's a piece of metal.
No shit.
Yeah, dumbass. Hot beverages will stay hot for several hours. Use caution to prevent burns. So they're like,
that's how hot.
Yeah, so like if you put this thing in hot, 2 hours later, it's going to be there. Here's the warranty: Yeti Rambler stainless steel, free from any defects in workmanship or materials for a period of 5 years, provided they are used according to these instructions.
To be honest, if I'm spending $50 on a cup, I kind of want it to have like lifetime warranty.
Yeah, I should never have to buy another cup ever.
Yeah.
Like this should be
what's happening to your cup that there isn't a lifetime warranty?
It's a cup. There's no moving parts. It's a cup.
Like maybe the lid would break.
But the lid is a separate piece, I think.
You have to buy it separately?
Well, you can buy separate. There's different types of lids I can get.
Of course.
But this lid, it came with it. So I don't know.
I think that you really need to test it out with the specific kind of beverages.
I think I need to test it with coffee or something like that.
You should put water in it. Put very, very, very cold water in it. leave it in your car all day long
in
with
the hot
sun beating on it.
Yeah, and see what happens.
That's a test.
Yeah, we should do that, and I'll tell you all about it. And if they screw it up, guess what? I'm going after Yeti's ass.
And just so you guys know, we're not sponsored by Yeti.
No, we're not. Not at all. They would never sponsor this show. This is
maybe they will now.
Yeah, well, we tried to get the Taco Bell people after you.
Maybe they'll put our logo on a Yeti mug.
We could do that. That could be your Christmas present, where I go take the logo and I make it to where you have a Mike Sasson Show logo.
It depends. I guess I drink coffee, so I could put that in there. But I don't drink coffee out of mugs that often.
Mm-hmm. Well, now I'm gonna, because I have a $50 mug.
Yeah.
Now I'm
better
definitely
use it.
Yeah.
But I drink more water. If they have like a 32 ounce or like a gallon water cup,
they do. I think.
Get it for me.
Yeah, I'll
with
get
our
it for you.
logo on it,
and
then I'll throw it in the garbage.
That would be mean. I would just have a picture of you. What if you had a picture of yourself on your Yeti mug?
Ooh.
Just to be like, whose mug is this?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's my picture
No,
on it.
let's steal it.
Yeah, there you go.
That'd be nice.
Speaking of great purchases, you made a great purchase last week on your bicep, because you're a jack dude.
I am a jack dude.
You have a new tattoo or multiple tattoos.
I have two. There's really hard to show on the camera because I'm just a little head right now. There's one. And there's another one on the back of my arm. It's like severely bruised right now.
I know. Was that because of the tattoos?
Yeah, I mean, if someone's like shoving a needle into your arm for 3 hours, it kind of bruises you, you know, and I bruise very easily.
Most women in my life do. It's weird.
It's just like a woman. We're very fragile.
I know. What's the deal? You got to work on that.
Yeah. But I did feel a little buff over the weekend because my arm was a little swollen.
Did you do the whole?
Yeah.
You I'm do the gun show.
Yeah. Now my like weird parts of my body are swollen now.
This is just a sidebar about how dumb I am.
Oh, I can't wait.
Okay. So I went to the gym and they have a sign up that says no firearms. So I walked up to the person who was like scanning us all in. And I legitimately went, wait a minute, no firearms? What am I supposed to do with these guns?
And they were like, get out. Get out now.
Yeah, they were just like, you're fat. And then I walked away, and that was weird. But okay, so tattoos.
Yeah.
First and foremost, you have several.
Yeah.
When was the last time you had the first original tattoo?
When did I get my first one?
Well, when was the first, like you have this one. When was the last time you got one? Like what's the gap?
Last October.
Okay.
It was the skeleton, so right next to the other ones I just got.
Okay, so you're on a pace for about one a year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of. I skipped a couple years.
Okay. How long did that take?
3 hours.
For both?
Yeah, for both.
Okay.
Together.
And how did you pick the person that did it?
She did the skull
You went with the female. Was that specific, or do you wanted to support female tattoo artists?
So last year I got the skull on my arm for Friday the 13th. It was just like she had a flash sale.
Okay.
So I walked in and I was like, oh my God, I love that. And she was like, I'm available. And I said, okay. And then she tattooed me. And then I wanted the ones around it to look very similar. Okay. So that's why I went back to her. I knew that she did a
So that took 3 hours. Now, I imagine if you bruised, it didn't tickle.
No.
Is it up there? Now, your side tattoo right now is still your most painful.
Yeah, but like I don't even it's so long ago. Like I know it was painful, but I don't remember it. Mm-hmm. And like every time I go back to get a tattoo, I'm like, oh, I totally forgot how this feels. But after a while, like 3 hours, you're like pretty much numb. Like your hands are numb. You're just numb.
You know, weirdly, that's what my sister-in-law said about pregnancy. She said that, like, yeah, it sucks to give birth, but then, like, after a year or so, you forget about it. You're like,
and then you put yourself through it again. You're like,
exactly.
Why?
Which, again, is, I think, how we have so many people is because that's, like, nature's way of, like, if you remember every moment of it, you're like, I'm never having a kid ever again.
Yeah.
So then you do sit there, like, after a year and your kid stops being, like, you know, an infant. You're like, oh, I want another kid. Yeah. And then you're like, it wasn't that bad. And then you have it again. You're like, this sucked.
Yeah.
And my mom repeated that 8 times.
Yeah.
But now.
God knows why.
I'm not going to ask you what they mean because you specifically said don't, but I would say, like, how long did it take you to come up with these?
Probably a couple hours. See, This is what I do. I have, like, in my phone and, like, I have all these ideas, like, written out and, like, drawn and stuff. I'll have them for years and years and years. And I never actually get those ones that I think about a crazy amount.
Okay.
Because typically they're like very, very, I want them to be extremely specific if
Okay.
I'm like creating it on my own. You know what I mean? So typically I just get ones that I think about very fast and I'm like, love it. I love this.
Yes. You go with your instinct. You go with your gut.
Yeah.
Now, again, you do not care what I think, but here's why I just have a problem with getting a tattoo.
Why's that?
It's because they're permanent.
Yeah.
And like, for instance, if you've noticed my facial hair, I thinned it out a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I have that option with facial hair.
Yeah.
I could grow my hair long. I could grow my hair short. I could even get piercings. Those can kind of go away. But tattoos are forever, and that kind of doesn't scare me, but it makes me feel like, I've never had an idea where I'm like, okay, for the rest of existence, I totally want to commit to the fact that I have this on my arm. How do you get over that?
See, I get over it because I always think of like, oh, well, I'm just going to die someday, and it really doesn't affect me too much. And like the reason I like all of them, and like I picked them specifically for like that time in my life. Like it's very representative of that time in my life. So like even if in the future, even if I hated it, I'd be like, well, but like that's who I was as a person at that time. And that's what I was going through, and that's all of those things. And it's represented on my body. It's almost like writing things down. Like if there's a book about my body, but it's not a book about my body, but a book about my life.
It's a
but
book.
It's on my body.
You've written a story about your life on your body.
Yeah.
And like, so if let's say someday you want to run for president of the United States, and someone sits there and says, "Hey, what's up with the tattoos?" You'd be like, "Well, this is a moment in time, and this is why I did it," type deal.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the best way to think about it, and to never like regret them. Plus, like, laser stuff is getting so up there, and by the time that I would want to ever remove them, which I won't, like, they could do it,
That's almost like someone smoking and sitting there going, you know what, eventually they'll come up with a cure for lung cancer. What's the problem?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, so again, great news for all tattoo fans out there and Alex fans, who are aplenty on the show.
I haven't shown my parents yet. They haven't been home.
Well, I guess interesting way to hi, Kathy.
They definitely well, they saw photos of them because they follow me on Instagram. They saw photos of them, but they haven't said anything about it yet. I told my mom on Friday when I went to go get them, I texted her like right beforehand. I don't like to tell them too soon because I don't want them to like ask too many questions about it. And I texted her and I was like, "Hey mom, don't kill me. I'm about to go get another tattoo, blah, blah." And she was like, "Oh, my God, I hope you don't have that addiction thing." I was like, "Mom, you're such a cute little mom."
Do you ever think you're going to get a sleeve?
Probably not. I don't know.
You don't know. You don't commit to anything.
No, yeah, I don't really know. I have ideas for everything, but I don't know if I could see myself with one.
Okay. Well, guess what? Maybe someday that'll be the life story, and we will move on from there. Just like we're moving on with the show. And coming up next after this break, we will talk bar thoughts and experiences with Alex, and we'll be going into the mind of everyone's favorite internet radio producer. My name is Mike Sasson. You're listening to The River's Edge at www.riversedgepgh.com. We'll be right back.
Brian Crawford letting you know that Kevin Slogic, my State Farm agent in Allison Park, is here to help life go right and reminds you that you're listening to the River's Edge Radio Network.
Come on, go! It's green! Come on! Go!
God damn it, Brian. You need to calm down
Yeah,
with
I'm
the road
sick
rage.
of these people, these assholes.
It's the road rage, man. You gotta calm down on the road rage.
Well, I want to get to where we're going. We have a lot of great stuff coming up. We're going to the Falling Water,
Bicycle heaven.
The Mattress Factory.
Knob.
Trundle Manor. All right, which way do I go? Which way do I go? Come on,
right,
come on.
Right.
Too late now.
Right, come on.
Well, too late now. I gotta keep going. I'm not gonna sit here like some asshole.
Oh, come on, man.
All right, you're listening to the Culture Cruise. You can find us at riversedgepgh.com.
Your local Pittsburgh area museum podcast.
Yes, riversedgepgh.com, and come take a ride with us.
It is the Mike Sasson Show. We are broadcasting at the River's Edge at www.riversedgepgh.com. Thank you, everybody who keeps supporting the show and keeps supporting local music and local comedy. And also, thank you to the greatest internet radio producer of all time, Alex Clemens. And so if you ever really want to get into the mind of Alex, the segment to watch, of course, is Bar Thoughts and Experiences with Alex. Alex, play your song. Or don't. Those are the two. Those are the two.
It's
thoughts.
coming. It's coming.
It's coming.
I had to get to the right point, you know? This one.
Maybe y'all can relate. My style's dope any way that you slice it. It's a fresh cut, hope that you like it.
I could not have picked a better song for myself.
You couldn't have. It's a love story about pizza.
Because it used to be Red Red Wine, you know? You remember those days?
Yeah, back when we didn't care about like the fact that we were possibly putting the station at risk by getting sued by millions of dollars. Yeah.
Yeah, back in those days?
Yeah, back in those days when we were just like, no one's going to watch this. And then we were like getting cease and desist letters. Yeah, those are fun. Alex, what is your bar thought for this week?
Two things. I came up with a new term for picking up men.
All right, go for it. What is a term for picking up dudes?
It's called bagging snakes.
Bagging snakes.
My one of my coworkers told me about this game that he's like from a little far out of Pittsburgh.
He's from the sticks. Let's just call it. He's from the sticks.
And he used to play this game called bagging snakes.
Okay.
And basically, you had a bag of snakes and you dumped them all out of the bag and you had to put them all back in the bag.
Sounds like the worst game I've ever heard in my life. That sounds like a weird religion. You know those religions where people like are snake charmers and then they get bit and they die?
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds
Same
like
thing.
what they that's what they do. So, bagging snakes. I understand like the whole like snake, phallic kind of thing, like you're bagging a bag of dicks or whatever.
Just putting them in a bag.
Putting them in a bag. Now, again, if the men's right activists would be like, you know what? If we called women, bagging clams, we'd all be thrown into jail and everyone would think we're terrible. Why can Alex say bagging snakes?
It's not, a thing where you would I wouldn't say that to a man. Like, oh, I'm going out to bag snakes tonight.
By the way, yes, you would totally.
Yeah, I would.
Just
but I wouldn't try and start it as a movement. This is my term from now on about if I'm going on Tinder, like I'm going out to the bar and I'm trying to bag some snakes.
Honestly,
it's my favorite thing in the world.
If you did a T-shirt where it's like bros, like different types of dudes, like a bro and then like a doctor and then like an athlete and then like a nerd, and they're all different types of dudes and they were in a bag and they'd be like bagging snakes. That'd be the Alex T-shirt.
Bagging snakes since 2018.
There you go.
Boom.
Clearly, you've been bagging snakes before into 2018.
Yeah, but I just came up with
it. Just came up. Wait, did you invent this term?
Did I? I didn't. I invented it for that reason.
Oh, okay.
For that,
So
meaning.
You've never heard anyone call trying to go get some strange yak bagging snakes ever.
I'm sure that maybe we could. Or like Urban Dictionary, probably someone else has found it, but I'm gonna say it was me.
It's an Alex invention,
hilarious.
Bagging snakes. Congratulations to Alex
so
being the greatest inventor of all time, supplanting Thomas Edison, who did like the light bulb and the movie projector and all this kind of worthless stuff that no one cares about.
Speaking of bagging snakes.
I
went on a first date last week.
Really? That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I don't go on too many of them.
The last one was the taco date on the guy's birthday.
Yeah.
I know.
That turned out well.
Good.
But yeah, so I went on a first date last week, and it's a lot, not a lot different, but a little bit different now, just because I live with my parents, so I have to.
Did the guy have to meet the parents?
No.
Okay.
It's just they ask more questions, and I purposely didn't tell my dad.
Okay.
Because I knew he'd be like, "Who are you going on a date with? Why are you going on a date again? Blah blah blah." And I always just come back with, "Dad, do you ever want grandchildren?"
Yeah, I gotta find some suitable mates so I can produce some grandchildren.
Yeah.
Get off my ass.
That's typically what I try and come back with. But my mom.
Record what I just said and play it on your phone.
For my dad?
Yeah, just be like, do that. Be like, get off my ass. I'm trying to get pregnant. And then you just leave.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't like to talk to my father in that way.
Okay.
But my mom was asking a bunch of questions and stuff, and then I was getting ready, and they were like, "Is that what you're wearing?" I was like, oh, "Don't make me feel weird about this."
Oh, wow. That so sucks.
It already takes me like an hour and a half to get ready for a first date because I'm just like, I pick out 16 different outfits.
It takes 45 minutes for you to get ready for this show, let alone something that you care about. Yeah.
And I had my sister like text me pictures of what I should wear. She was like going on Pinterest and looking for all these ideas and stuff, and I didn't go with any of her ideas. I felt bad.
That sucks.
And then like I was late because I took forever to get ready.
Which dudes know you're going to be late. That's
I know. I should just always tell people like an hour behind what
Wait, you were an hour late?
No, I was probably 20 minutes late.
That's okay. That's pushing it.
Still, yeah, terrible.
Okay.
I know.
I always feel that you really figure out a person when you find out what their ish is. And what I mean by that is when someone sits there and says, "Oh, when are we going to be there?" About 11-ish. Like if I say ish, I'm saying I'm going to be there between 10:55 and 11:05. That to me is 11-ish. In your experience, and I've dealt with you, your ish is if you say, "Hey, Mike, we'll be at the place Wednesday at around 10-ish." I would say Tuesday about 2 p.m. to the next Thursday is a possibility in which you would do it.
I typically say 20 minutes to a half an hour is how much I'm typically late. If it's like if it's not something that's like work related, like I'm not late for work. If I was 20 minutes late for work, I'd never have a job. But like anything else, I'm pretty much typically 20 minutes to 30 minutes late.
You just admitted that you can be on time, but you just don't care.
It's just because I don't get ready, like I get ready more and I'm more concerned about what I'm wearing. When I'm going to work, like I already know what I'm wearing, so it doesn't take me as long.
Okay.
It's just a long process. So they were, and then my mom was like, "Did you call an Uber yet? Like it takes a while for Ubers to get here. You're going to be late." And I was like, "Mom, I know I'm going to be late. Please stop stressing me out." And it was a lot more. But the date ended up being very good.
There you go.
And I think that one tip for first dates is just be genuine.
Be genuine.
And do it like that.
Yeah,
just
make
do that
sure
a lot during the date.
Okay.
Be genuine. Just flip your finger if you can't see me since you're listening to me.
All right.
Just flip your finger and say, "Oh,
And
what an interesting point."
And for guys, lie your ass off. That's what
No.
you should do. Make sure you. I was reminded of a story that my uncle at one time, and he told me to do this, and I never did it. This was when I just graduated from college, and I was still real big. He sat there and go, "You should tell women you're a stealer." And I'd be like, "That's lying, and that's not cool." He goes, "I did it, and I got with a girl for 3 months." Like, you convinced a girl for 3 months you were a Pittsburgh Steeler. He goes, "Yeah, until one time I said, 'Hey, why don't we hang out on Sunday?' And then she picked up that I wasn't a Steeler."
See, in my head, so I was thinking about this earlier, and I was like, is this the best advice for first dates?
Yes.
And I was like, well, what if you're a dick? Like, you might not want to be genuine because you're a dick, and people aren't going to like you.
But here's the thing, and I would sit there and say why it is good advice, is if you are a dick, you want to, part of being a dick would be if you know you're a dick and you don't change your dick because dicks don't think they're dicks.
No.
They think they're fine people, and they can, the mind's number one thing it can do is rationalize any behavior.
Yeah.
And so people who are genuine pieces of human excrement do not think they're bad people. So if you sit there and say, "Oh, well, if you're a dick, you don't want to, show your cards too early." No, they think they're fine people.
I was going to say also, even if you are and you are genuine, then at least you're saving that person, because then they will know that you're a horrible person.
I would sit there and say one of the things that I really respect now more than anything is honesty, because you get it so infrequently.
Yeah.
And when you get it, it's just it's like a breath. There's initial shock of like, "Oh my God, I can't believe this person actually said this."
Yeah.
But then, like I personally, there's three answers to any question: yes, no, and maybe. And people think that maybe is nicer than no. No is nicer than maybe.
Yeah.
If you give someone a maybe, like if you sit there and say, "Hey, I'd like to, take you out sometime." Let me see. I don't know. Let me give you that. No, you are a piece of dog crap if you do that. Just sit there and say, "I'll be honest with you. I'm not looking for a relationship, and on top of that, it's ugly." and then just kind of move on from there.
Yeah, it'd be great if people took that, though. Sometimes I will flat out tell people no and give them a long backstory as to why, and they don't really care.
What do you mean they
They'll
don't
just
care?
continue to try and hang out with me.
But-
I'm like, nah, man, nah.
Well, I mean, there's a difference between hang out and if someone came up to you and you said, hey, I'm not interested, thank you very much, and they continually kind of kept on going, hey, but like, one of the weirdest things, and I thought about this, was my first job out of college at Coca-Cola, there was a giant sign that said, no is just a request for more information. Which meant in sales, if you go up to someone and say, hey, you should buy this pop, and they went, no, what you should do is not take it as, okay, shut the door.
Right.
You should take it as, I should come back with another piece of information.
Right.
Which really, if you take that over to the dating world, makes you a stalker.
Yeah.
So that's why.
Just leave it at no.
Yeah, but that's the problem is a lot of guys, especially when they do hear no, it's like, oh, it's because Alex doesn't know this about me.
Right, yeah.
Or Alex
if she
needs,
knew this,
Yeah.
we'd be married.
Yeah. Or that's why I did the joke one time where I sat there and I said, there is no such thing as the friend zone.
Yeah.
Because if you are truly in the friend zone and you hang around, you're not treating that person as a friend, and you're not, because essentially what you're saying is, oh, I'm just going to continue to hang out with you, hoping that your life turns to such shit that eventually your standards go down to the point where you go, okay, you.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is always the big guy's dream is you sit there and say, well, if I lose the weight and I get a better job and then she'll like me, it's almost like, well, then she's proven to be like not a good human being and you really shouldn't be with that person.
Yeah, I'd say so. And going back to you saying that being honest, like I am way too honest sometimes, not too honest, but like I tell people a lot of things. I very much open up about myself, and like sometimes I'm not the biggest fan. Like the first date that I went on a long time ago, I like told them so many things and I forgot because I have no memory.
Yeah.
And then like the next day they're like, oh, so that was interesting. I was like, oh shit, I don't remember that at all.
But you know what? I as someone that you have told things that I had later on been like, that was interesting for for just a conversation. I took it as something. Oh wow, she trusts me with that information.
I hope so. I hope
and then
people
we would
take
go
it
from
that
there.
way and they're not like.
But again, there are
Alex, you're
people
a
that are
freak.
pieces of dog crap. But you would sit there and say, the key to a great first date and also a key to, I believe, a successful romantic life in general is to learn how to speak and also to be genuine.
Be genuine.
Be genuine. Is there anything else, Alex?
Genuine. No, I think that's it. Being genuine really helped me have a really great first date.
There you go. Has a second date been scheduled yet?
There was already one.
Oh, damn. This guy's almost... He's going to have a ring on your finger in a week.
We danced in the rain on our first date.
Oh, that's so cute.
I love to hear each specific person's reaction to me saying that.
Uh-huh.
Because, like, even saying it, I'm like, this sounds real corny. Like,
Yeah.
saying it also sounds like I'm totally making that up.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it's real.
Did you slow dance in the rain, or did you, like, kind of...
No, we were slow dancing in the rain. I thought that we went out in the rain. I was like, let's jump in all the puddles. And he was in a little bit more, let's dance.
Yeah.
Let's make this cute.
Aw, you know what, though? But that is very romantic comedy-like, so I think that's very, very nice. It's very notebookish.
It was, yeah. It'll maybe make it into my book.
You know what he'll need to do now? He needs to go off to war. You need to forget him, and then he comes back and wins your heart like 5 years from now when you're about to marry the wrong man.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
I feel like I'd maybe be ready by then.
There you go. That's how you be genuine. Thank you very much, Alex, for Bar Thoughts and Experiences this week.
You're welcome.
There you go. Now it is my turn for my segment I call I'll Fix This. Play my theme song, Alex. This week's I'll Fix This is for all of the elderly citizens who watch the show.
Aw, there's so many.
I know. We are almost required viewing in most area elderly places.
Yeah.
Because to be honest with you, they want to get rid of beds. They want to like open up some beds. So they show us to super old people. I'm like, do you really want to hang around this earth? And they're like, you're right, pull the plug. And that's how they do it.
Aw.
So
That doesn't make me happy.
I know, it makes me hilariously happy though. Here's the thing though. Put the picture up. It's from the Drudge Report. Pittsburgh this week officially does not have a daily newspaper that publishes every day, hence the name daily newspaper. We're the largest city in America now that does not have a daily newspaper.
What?
And here's my thought to that. Good. Newspapers are dumb.
But the nostalgia.
I know. That's what I don't like. Everyone's just like, so many people have like, oh, I loved holding it and I liked every day and I'd pick it up and I'd drink a cup of coffee and I'd... Shut up. It's stupid. Here's the thing I don't like about newspapers, which is why you say, well, Mike, what are you fixing? Here's what I'm fixing, elderly people. Here's how you get around the whole not having newspapers thing. First and foremost, have your grandkids show you how to use the iPad and the smartphone that you got a couple Christmases ago that you really only use, that you never turn on because you think the battery's going to die. So you ultimately just basically just keep it closed so no one can call you. Turn it on and have your grandson or granddaughter show you how to use Twitter or Facebook or any of the other gazillion ways that you can actually read news as it happens. That's one of the most annoying things about newspapers is like, let's say, for instance, something happens at 8 in the morning tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
And then there's a whole day and then they print it and then you read it at like 5, 6 p.m. the next day when you get home from work. The thing that you might be reading might have happened well over like 36 hours ago.
Yeah.
So that's why it's so pointless to read it.
Is it though?
Yes, it is.
I like the nostalgia.
What do you mean the nostalgia?
The nostalgia. It
Do you
reminds
like
me of-
polio too? Do you like all sorts of stuff like that?
Yeah.
You like old diseases and you wish that women couldn't vote? I mean, is there anything else that you'd like to get rid of as well?
To bring back?
Yeah, bring back.
I don't know.
Really?
I just like newspapers. It reminds me of like when I would go to school in the morning and my dad would walk me to the end of the driveway and he'd get the newspaper, you know, and like looking at it for a while. And like, I don't know. I do like to touch them and think about drinking coffee. But
Nope.
I don't read them. I just want them to exist still.
I know, that's the problem. Everyone sits there. You sit there and say you'd like them to exist, but you don't want to look at them and then buy things from them because that's all a newspaper is. It's
I'm
just
going to make my own. And then I want to read it.
you'll make the Alex Gazette.
Yeah.
And then you'll just have everyone read news. Would it be only news about you?
It would be only news that I cared about.
Okay.
Which would be it's a very short newspaper.
Yeah, it would just be news about you and people that you know.
Yeah.
And
like there's like a gossip section about like who I'm dating and stuff like that. I think it'd be cute.
And who you'd want to date, and then like a whole section on Paul Rudd, and then just, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Movies you'd want to see, TV shows that
Fashion
you've seen.
tips.
Fashion tips, different hair colors of the week,
Yeah.
tattoo news.
It sounds great.
Okay, so
It's basically like an Instagram feed, like a social media feed.
No.
Newspaper form.
But it's going to be really slow, and it's not going to update real quick, and it'll be way too expensive because newsprint is super expensive. And then ultimately, when people are done, we can throw them away and fill up landfills.
Or you can put them in your fire.
We can put them in a fire.
Yeah.
So everyone's now got to go get a fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just building giant fires to get rid of Alex's newspaper filled with just gossip about nothing.
Yeah.
Newspapers are dumb. Here's what you have to do. Start reading Twitter. Start going. Here's the thing. I'm a sports fan. I have DK in Pittsburgh Sports. I have The Athletic, which is essentially two different sports pages that update instantaneously. I go on blog sites. I look on all sorts of different websites to get my news. I am well informed about all sorts of stuff. It's a wonderful tool. That's how I would say how you get over it. Now, if you sit there and say, but I like to take it into the bathroom. I take this into the bathroom constantly. This mostly is used during my defecations for me to look at pictures of butt models. That's all
Butt
this
models.
is. I'd read a newspaper about butt model news.
My news comes from my phone. Like automatically sends me like
I know.
articles.
Yeah, everyone does.
Yeah, and it's like I only read the first. Like I don't ever actually open them. I just read the first thing, and it's always like 50,000 people died today.
Yeah, and you don't know where they are.
Yeah. Cool.
You think they might be down the street, or it might be in some country you've never heard of.
Yeah, I don't know. But
There you go. But you're informed. They know that there's 50,000 less people,
yeah, and I
which
go,
is
oh.
yeah, dang.
And then I go about my life.
Yeah, that's pretty much how most newspapers went. You'd sit there and be like, 50,000 people die in avalanche in Switzerland. And you're like, oh, sucks to be them. And then you just kind of move on with your existence. Because you can't take every news article so like, oh my God, the Dow Jones Industrial Average is down 25 points. You can't do that.
That's how I react to the Dow Jones.
Do you know what the Dow Jones Industrial Average is?
No.
Okay.
No idea.
Okay, good. Keep it that way. That's how you make money big time. Anyway, so here's how I fix. Make sure you follow Twitter. Use your smartphone. Turn it on. The battery's not going to die. If it's too small, then have one of your kids get you an iPad or get you one of those big things, and it's all good. You're okay. Everything's going to be fine. And oh, by the way, you're going to pass away soon, and so pretty much, why do you care anyway?
Everyone's going to die.
That what?
I said everyone's going to die.
Everyone's going to die. So
why even have newspapers? Why even have anything?
Exactly. Just listen to internet radio and follow me and Alex, and that's all you need to feel the warm goodness of knowledge. Thank you very much, Alex, for listening to me in my new segment called I'll Fix That. Did I fix anything? More than likely, no. But next up, guess what we're going to do? We're going to get Alex's take on one of the greatest rock bands of all time. I'm talking about Black Sabbath. They're coming up next on Fresh Eyes on the Mike Sasson Show. You're listening to The River's Edge at www.riversedgepgh.com. We'll be right back. All right, it is the Mike Sasson Show. Thank you very much to all of the listeners and watchers out there. And keep commenting. We will read the comments at the end of the show if you're watching us on Facebook Live. Or, again, as we proved at the beginning of the show, if you comment later on in the week, guess what? We'll read it then. That's what kind of wonderful people we are. Thank you very much to all of you. Thank you very much to Alex. And thank you very much to a new segment that we've done for the last couple months called Fresh Eyes. Play the theme song. This week on Fresh Eyes, we had Alex, just a young child.
Young buck.
A young buck. Watch 3 videos from the people that pretty much invented heavy metal music. Of course, we are talking about Black Sabbath. There we go, Alex. Now, when I said I sent you a message, and I sent you the 3 clips on YouTube of live performances from Black Sabbath.
Yes.
You didn't respond immediately because that's typically what you do.
Can't stand you.
I know you can't. You make my guts. Anyway, so then I sent you. I was like, oh, this is a nice little clip because it was 50 years ago this week that Hey Jude was released, and then all of a sudden I get a message back that just says Black Sabbath, and then it has the devil horns and stuff like that.
I didn't watch that other video.
Okay, good.
Either.
All right. But you did watch the Black Sabbath.
But I felt bad because you had texted me twice, like at two separate times, and I didn't answer. And I was like, oh, maybe I should get back to Mike.
Yeah.
And then I was like, yeah, Black Sabbath, woo.
Yeah, Black Sabbath, woo. All right, couple facts about Black Sabbath. Formed in Birmingham, England in the late 60s. One of the coolest stories and one of the most gruesome stories ever about how they got their distinctive sound. Tony Iommi, who was the lead guitarist and one of the greatest guitarists of all time, worked, again, if you know anything about England, Birmingham, England is in the Midlands. It's like the English version of Detroit or Pittsburgh or Cleveland. It's a very industrial, dirty, kind of polluted town. And they all worked at factories and all this kind of stuff. Ozzy Osbourne actually spent a couple months in jail because he was trying to steal from houses. These people were poor. And Tony Iommi, who was the guitarist, eventually got real good at guitar, and he was going to eventually quit his factory job and go tour with this band throughout Europe. And he was thinking, yay, I'm going to not have to work in this crappy mill again. So on his last day, it was a Friday, he went for the first half of the day, he does his crappy job. Then he goes home to lunch, and he's with his mom, and he sits there and goes, you know what? This is my last, I'm not going back. Screw this, I'm not doing this. And his mom sits there and goes, no, you said you'd be there till the end of today. You don't leave them in a bind. You go and you do that. And he's like, I got to listen to my mom. So everybody at the factory knew that this was his last day that he was working at this factory. So they gave him a real crap job. Oh. He was working at this gigantic machine, and he had little to no idea how to use it. So he was cutting metal, every time would junk, and it would cut metal. So eventually he'd put the piece of metal, junk, and it would just unbelievable force. And then eventually he couldn't stop it, and the metal basically, a little bit off 2 or 3 of his fingers.
No.
So then it's bleeding everywhere and all this kind of stuff. And they had to they put the tips of his fingers in a matchbox, and they took him to the hospital. And he says he doesn't remember getting to the hospital or anything like that. He lost all this blood. And eventually the doctor said, we couldn't do anything with the tips of your fingers. You've cut off a piece of your fingers. Good job. And he's like, but I'm a guitarist. I need my fingers in order to play guitar. And the doctor's like, well,
figure it out, man.
Yeah, figure it out, dude. And so the guy who ran the factory came and saw him and taught him about this Spanish guitarist who had lost 2 of his fingers due to, being Spanish. I don't know what he did. Anyways, so he got inspired, and he sat there and went, you know what? Let me figure this out. So he eventually put 2 pieces of rubber on his finger, but he couldn't press down like he used to because his fingertips were really, really sensitive.
Right.
So eventually he got thinner strings. He got banjo strings. And then also he tuned his guitar way down and plugged it in instead of the guitar because he wanted to make a bigger sound without as much work. And so when he plugged in his guitar into the bass amp instead of a guitar amp, it sounded really just dark and sinister and all this kind of stuff. And that's how they got their sinister kind of Black Sabbath sound. Now, they formed this band, and he has this distinct sound. And they initially were a jazz band. They were called Earth. And everybody was in it. And the rehearsal space was across the street from a movie theater showing a horror film called Black Sabbath. And so they sat there, and there was a line around the block of all these people wanting to see this horror film called Black Sabbath. And so one of the people says, you know what? It's really weird that all these people are paying good money to walk into this place and be scared. And so someone said, well, why don't we make music that scares them? And that was the impetus of naming the band Black Sabbath and having more darker, sinister music and all that kind of stuff. And that is ultimately how heavy metal music, because remember, this came out in the late 60s. This was during the Beatles and Flower Power and all this kind of stuff. And then all of a sudden, these weird guys from this industrial town in England were talking about mental illness and war and Satan and all this other kind of stuff, thus creating heavy metal music.
Just imagine if one day you got your fingers cut off and that changed your whole life, but it was you don't think about it then, but you're in the future, oh my God, that's the thing that made me famous.
Yes.
If I didn't get my fingers chopped off, I wouldn't be here.
He actually, it was an interview that a couple interviews I saw of him. He said, he goes, this horrible incident changed my life and actually made me the amazing rock star that I am today. Because if I hadn't done that, I would never, necessity is the mother of invention. He actually created a whole new genre of music essentially based off the fact that he didn't know how to use a giant machine and it cut off tips of his fingers.
Yeah.
Weird stuff.
Thanks, Mom, too. Also.
Yeah, thanks, Mom. Yeah, thank you for sending me back to work,
To get my fingers chopped off.
To get my fingers chopped off. So the first video was Paranoid.
Yeah.
Okay, first off, there were two songs, Paranoid and Iron Man, that were kind of weirdly trippy. They were actually from Danish TV. So you talk about weird TV.
Oh, that makes more sense.
Yeah. So what did you think of, first off, let's go with Paranoid. You've obviously heard of Black Sabbath.
Yeah, I've heard all of these songs before.
Okay.
terrible video.
Okay.
And I always say this, and I know that obviously, like, this is back in the day, they didn't have as many, like, things to do videos with, you know? And they're just getting all these effects and stuff. They're like, let's use everything.
Yeah.
Let's make it look as crazy as it possibly can. And it looks like something that I would have created in, like, my high school video production class. And it's just, like, all trippy. They're, like, on a green screen, and there's, like, stupid shit in the background. Like, crazy colors, and they're, like, super far away. And it just, to me, it's like, with that song, because it is like with all of their songs, like, they're so, like, creepy and stuff. Like, you could do such cool music videos that really wouldn't require any effects, but, like, an actual storyline. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that would have better suited the video. So I was watching this, I was like, and also all of their songs so goddamn long.
Yeah, except for Paranoid. Paranoid was only like a little over 2 minutes.
Still too long.
Still too long.
Because yeah.
By the way, okay, so let me ask you a question. Are you a fan of their music?
Not really.
Okay.
I would never go, I don't mind it as much as everyone, not everyone else, but as much as other people that you've had me listen to, I definitely don't mind it. Like, I would listen to it if someone put it on, but I would never go out of my way.
Well, one of the things that I found was interesting was, first off, just like you said, the look of the band. They were just dressed in t-shirt and jeans. Whereas, like, if you play, like, sinister dark music now, you have to, like, wear makeup and, like, wear, like, like leather and studs and, like, you know, massive tattoos. These guys just look like they just crawled out of a freaking, like, hamper and didn't care.
Dude, in the last video, the War Pigs video, that live video, the drummer looks like he's wearing, like children's pajamas. That's what he looks like he's wearing. I'm like, what are you doing, dude?
And Ozzy Osbourne, I mean, again, you probably know Ozzy more from, like, you know, being on the MTV show and everything like that. He is maybe the most interesting rock star of all time, because in a sense that he's not particularly great looking. He's kind of chubby. His voice it's interesting, but it's not like it's Robert Plant to where it's like, or Freddie Mercury to where it's like, oh my God, this great falsetto or anything like that. But the guy's been insanely popular for close to 50 years. And I've seen him live a couple times. He's, even to this day, even if he looks like off stage, like he can't walk, as soon as he gets on stage, he's the most active person on stage. He's doing, like, frog jumps. He's shooting water cannons. He's just doing crazy stuff. And the other thing about him, which is interesting, he'll sing these songs about, like, Satan and death and everything. And then he ends the song with, thank you very much, I love you. Like, it's really, really odd about, like, it just, sometimes things just kind of don't connect.
Yeah.
Then the other one, like you mentioned, War Pigs, that was recorded live in Paris. The thing that always gets me is how many, like, songs. This was 1970, Vietnam's going on, and these guys are singing songs about, like, the generals are, like, from Satan and they're burnt and all this kind of stuff. And I just had to think that in 1970, people were just so freaked out because they're just like, yeah, we don't like the war, but lay off the satanic imagery.
We don't want to, like, complain about it too much.
Yeah, you're kind of getting weird. We're like, peace and love, and you guys are like saying Satan laughing spreads his wings.
Yeah. I definitely think that people would have been completely taken aback. But even listening to it now, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I mean, even today, it's
also one, like, all of their songs are also songs you sing along to and don't really know what you're saying. You know, it's almost like a cult, and you're just, like, singing along to it. And you're like, oh shit.
And
this is what I'm talking about
but
right now.
Really cool, like, Iron Man was actually written as a song about a guy who goes into the future, sees the end of mankind, comes back in, but because he was coming through time, he has to put on a metal suit, and he tells everybody, hey, this is how society is going to end, and they don't listen to him, so he gets pissed off and ends society that way.
Yeah.
Like, that's really weird to think about in, like, 1970, but super cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those bands, like, similar to Motorhead, that I was in when I was a kid. I was like, I knew what they were and stuff like that. But the more I investigated it, like, I'm like, these guys had some incredible albums, like, I personally think that Black Sabbath belongs with, like, the Beatles and the Stones, and Led Zeppelin is one of the most influential. I mean, they invented a form of music.
Right.
The Beatles didn't invent a form of music. Led Zeppelin didn't invent a form. These guys invented a form of music that, again, you're not a huge fan of, but you have to admit they invented a form of music.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely pretty cool to think about. You don't really have people doing that now, or a lot ever.
Yeah.
There's not that many forms of music that people have created. You know?
I mean, the last major form of music that was created in my lifetime is hip hop. That's the last one that really was created. Like, I remember, like they talked about, go back to Motorhead, like someone talked about that Lemmy, when he was talking about it, he goes, I remember before rock and roll.
Yeah.
Well, I'm at the age where I go, I remember before hip hop.
Yeah.
I remember what the world was before that was. And again, there are people who are, again, before Black Sabbath.
Yeah.
But again, very super cool. I like Black Sabbath. Now, I will tell you, Alex, your key demographic of over 35, 40-year-old dudes are really they always come up to me and be like, I like Alex, but every time you play her like Metallica or Guns N' Roses or Van Halen, she always just craps all over it. What's the deal, Alex?
What's the deal? If it's just not my thing, I like happy music.
You like happy music.
Typically, yeah. Well, I shouldn't even say that because a lot of the music I like I like very old country, and a lot of those songs are just incredibly depressing. But they make me happy.
They make you say so. Essentially, maybe more ground-based, more like, "Hey, I lost my girl. I'm sad. I lost my girl."
Yeah.
Instead of
Satan.
Hey, Satan laughing spreads his wings.
Yeah, and I'm also a very big. I'm super nostalgia-based in everything that I do, so that also reflects in my music style. So, like, a lot of the music I listen to, I've been listening to since I was a child, and I didn't grow up with any of this stuff.
Your parents didn't play Sabbath around the house?
No. My mom was playing, old country. She was playing, like, Loretta Lynn and stuff like that.
Okay.
My dad was playing Motown.
Okay.
I wasn't listening to any kind of metal.
All right.
And that was the farthest thing from my life.
Well, we all can't be perfect. Anyways, so you mentioned, though, when I showed you the pictures of them, you're a big fan, though, of Black Sabbath's facial hair.
Hell yeah. I'm a big fan of mustaches, if I'm going to be honest with you. And they're doing it well, at least in this photo.
In the 70s, yeah, they were big into mustache. Tony Iommi still has the mustache, even though he's like in his 70s.
Just mustaches are real cool if you can pull them off.
Yeah.
They're really good. They're a good look in my mind.
I look like a serial killer with a mustache.
Yeah, you could. They could also be serial killers.
No, they look too kind of ruffian. They could be one of like the Manson family, but I don't know about that.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if they could be standalone serial killers. They would need people pushing them and urging them.
I could see that.
Yeah.
But if one of them was like, I was looking out my window and I saw one of their faces just like right outside my window at night, I would be freaked out.
Yeah.
But I'd probably be freaked out if anyone was standing outside my window.
Yeah, even if someone you knew, like, hey, how you doing, Alex? You're like, okay. It's my dad. Anyways, thank you very much, Alex, for giving us a new perspective on Black Sabbath. And now we're going to give you a new perspective on news and notes from the world of gossip, sports, and all sorts of cool things. Play the music. Alex, remember last week when the guy told the story about the Tinder date gone wrong?
Hell yeah, crazy Tinder girl.
Crazy Tinder girl. So they interviewed Crazy Tinder girl.
Yeah.
And here's why she said she did it. She said it was just to give you an update if you didn't watch last week.
I just wish her answer was just like, I'm fucking crazy, man. That's why.
I'm just a nutty gal. That's what I am. Anyway, so essentially what it turns out is it was a societal experiment.
Oh, yeah.
Because she goes, social media dating sites are bad for, like, not only dating, but our society, because in her mind, so just to go back, what exactly happened if you missed last week. A guy told a story that he hooked up with a girl on Tinder. They matched. They talked for a little while, and she said, hey, meet me in Union Square in New York City. I want to watch this DJ. So the guy's like, okay, whatever. I've done weirder stuff to get girls. So he shows up, and there's a whole group of dudes there. And she sits there and goes, hey, you all matched with me. Now the game is on. You should all work for my love. And everyone was like, wow, this woman's crazy. Here's why she's, again, proving she's crazy. She sat there and says the reason why she's not a fan of dating sites is because it eliminates people that human interaction might have proven that you ultimately could have hooked up with. Like, for instance, like sometimes you say, okay, no one under 5'10", no one who isn't a college graduate, no one who isn't this, no one who's this age. And you're sitting there going like, you know what? Don't get me with someone under, 5'10", but then you walk into a bar, you match eyes with someone who's 5'9", that becomes your soulmate, but you wouldn't have met on social media or wouldn't have met on Tinder because you would have eliminated that person. Yeah. Okay.
But who cares?
But
like,
you don't.
So what? We end up with shitty people maybe in our lives. Who cares?
Exactly.
We are the one we are subjecting ourselves to that by signing up for these dating sites. Mm-hmm. We know. What
are your criteria on your dating sites?
I don't have I am only on Tinder, so there's not very much criteria that you put into there. But
okay.
I mean, my age range is pretty far. It's 21 until the highest that it goes to, which I think is 60.
Nice.
Just for funsies, you know.
But I mean, like, okay, but have you ever done one where like height requirements and all that kind of stuff?
No, I've never gone on a dating site like that.
Mm-hmm. See, I think that is a little bit whatever in a sense that you do say, okay, no woman who's under 5'8" for me, and then all of a sudden a 5'6" woman walks in and like you lock eyes, you're like, wow, that's great, and you go, nope, 5'6", next.
But I just can't see that, like, okay, so if I walked into a bar and there's a dude who's like, I'm 5'4", and there's a dude that's like 4'8", I'm probably not going to look at him in the first place.
But what if the 4'8" dude is just like the dreamiest dude in the world?
I just can't see that.
You just can't see it. You can't,
I've never met anyone that was like smaller than me, and I was just like, yes.
See, now you're making all of the short dudes in the world feel terrible.
I'm so sorry, but typically there's not that many guys that are shorter than me. So.
But that's like, okay, I mean, but there are certain, I mean, I'm probably in the 95th percentile in terms of height.
There's shorter females, you know, that will like the shorter men. Yeah. Everyone matches up in the world. It works out just fine. We have enough babies and everything. We're doing okay.
We're not running out of people.
Yeah.
So you're telling this woman that you're saying it's bad because we're kind of limiting ourselves to these criteria. You should tell her, settle down.
Who cares?
Yeah, who cares?
Who gives a shit?
Another person that maybe should be told to stop giving a shit is Justin Verlander. So Justin Verlander currently pitches for the Houston Astros. And last year, the Houston Astros defeated the Los Angeles Dodgers for the World Championship of Baseball, otherwise known as the World Series. So this past week, he was back in Los Angeles, and as a joke in the Beverly Hills Hotel, someone put a line item, open miscellaneous, $1 million as a Dodger killer, thus making his total bill due $1,095,100 over $1 million.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of, I don't like numbers.
A lot of numbers there.
A lot of numbers. But the funny thing is he put this bill on there. Ha, 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 someone put $1 million bill on there. Everyone then looked at Twitter where he posted this and went, no, let's go through the rest of this stuff.
Yeah.
One latte, $9. One salad, $42.
Even his cranberry juice was $10.
Yeah.
Cranberry juice. Let's go to the store, get some cranberry juice.
2 eggs Eddie style with meat, $20. One pancake, $30.
Yeah. Goddamn good pancake.
But that's the thing. I almost think $30 pancakes would scare the shit out of me.
It's also the Beverly Hills Hotel. Maybe they know what they're doing. The Cabana Cafe.
I bet you $20 their pancakes are not better than, let's say, Pamela's.
Yeah.
And who are not anywhere near $30 for a pancake.
It's just like that giant bottle of champagne that one dude got. It's just like, you can say it, I got a $30 pancake once.
But here's the thing. This isn't something special for him. He's the guy who's married to Kate Upton. He makes like $15 million a year, $20 million a year, whatever, to pitch baseball games. This is his common breakfast. This is his everyday breakfast. At some point, you'd just be like, okay, every once in a while, I'll get the 30. Like this meal, which is basically pancakes, eggs, coffee, and juice, and maybe a salad to go, was well over like $150 for one dude.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it was worth it. We didn't.
What's the most expensive piece of food that you've ever eaten?
I actually just looked. I had a memory come up the other day, and when I was in New York, this was a long time ago, and I had no money. I don't know why I bought this.
Yeah.
But I got a $36 steak.
Okay.
Not a good steak. I mean, it wasn't bad, but it was like I could have probably made this steak.
Yeah.
It was just like, I guess I don't even know. It wasn't even like a delicious like piece of meat, like not even anything without like. If I'm paying $36 for steak, I don't want a single piece of fat to be on my steak. That's like my biggest thing.
But fat is flavor.
Yeah, but that's cut off the fat for me if I'm paying $36.
By the way, if anybody just missed that was not a coherent sentence.
Yeah, that's what I feel. How I feel about fat.
Okay, but have you ever watched like how they make steaks? Fat is flavor.
Yeah. Well,
okay. Anyways, thank you for I want you to have your own cooking shows. Like, hey, should I add sugar to this?
but no.
Most expensive piece. No, I mean, recently, I again, when I was in New York, because that's, I went into the sandwich shop, and they're like, oh, we get a sandwich. And, like, the least expensive sandwich was, like, $12.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, I'm in New York. I'll have the $15 Reuben.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there going, this is so stupid. $15 for a goddamn freaking sandwich. Or whatever. Stupid. Whatever. Then I had the sandwich, and I'm like, all right, you win this round.
Oh, damn.
It was a pretty good sandwich.
Yeah. See,
but
I don't know. I also got, like, last week on my first date, I got steak and fries. And it was like, I don't know, maybe like $20, $22. It was delicious.
Yeah.
Delicious.
Again, there's like we mentioned last week, the difference between like LA, New York, Chicago, and Pittsburgh. There are good steakhouses. There are good places to get pizza. It's just in those places, there's 100 places, and in here, there's like 8.
Right.
But if you're at one of the 8,
you're doing good.
You're doing pretty good. So, okay, here's the thing. I personally think I would have an issue with a $30 pancake because literally I'd be halfway done and it'd be like, I'm $15 in pancakes. You can get unlimited pancakes at IHOP for like $4.
Yeah.
So, I don't know about that.
You can get
Justin.
pancakes with everything at IHOP. They force you to eat pancakes.
I know.
Like eat all of them.
Yeah, I know. They're great. Anyways, so moving on. You're a fan of the Steel Panther.
Yeah, sure.
Are you a fan of Steel Panther?
No.
You've listened to their songs. You played Community Property. I've seen you. You like that song.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, so Steel Panther had an idea. The guitarist, Satchel, he decided that he wanted to have a specific type of tone that he would sell to other people on their guitars. And he decided, because again, if you know anything about Steel Panther is very, they're like an 80s band, but in 2018. So they're kind of, half their show is like a comedy show. It's very funny. It's very tongue-in-cheek. So they decided to name the tone the Pussy Melter. All right?
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
What else would you name it?
Yeah, what else would you name it? So someone eventually found out that they were doing the Pussy Melter and eventually got very, very upset. There actually was a female musician.
It was a female?
Yeah, female musician who got very upset and said that it was sexist, that they had a tone called the Pussy Melter, and they were very, very upset that this happened. And so they started to go up to the people who were at the whole like thing and sit there and says, you should absolutely get rid of these things. This is this terrible thing. Here is what she said. She goes, as a female guitarist, I am shocked by the poor marketing decision found on TC Electric's website for their signature sound from Satchel, offensively named Pussy Melter. There is an entire page dedicated to the sound. And this is his dedication to it. He goes, want to make a physical impact on your audience with an epic delay tone? Then Satchel's got you covered. When we meet up with Steel Panther's oh-so-humble guitarist, he had only one condition, that the tone be as wet as the ladies in the front row. With Pussy Melter, that's exactly what you get, a delay tone which is perfectly nails the heavy metal lead tone while simultaneously ensuring that the janitor ain't going home early. So Kind of silly, whatever.
Oh, I get it. That's funny.
All right. So then the woman who was very upset with this says, not only is this description extremely vulgar and unnecessary, but TC Electronics went out of their way to actually pay someone to write a marketing description for this. I can't imagine why a well-known company such as TC Electronics would feel it's okay to use such obviously offensive, sexist, and outdated marketing technique to sell a product. In addition, why would they choose to support an artist such as Satchel? Then he goes, TC Electronics product promotes that implies the ideas that A, the guitar world is dominated by heterosexual males and marketing for guitar products would be aimed at males. B, that these males will decide to use their musical influence to sexually manipulate heterosexual women. C, that the guitar world is excluded from the professional boundaries enforced by society to ensure that no product offends, excludes, or harms a particular group of people.
Jesus Christ.
Here's my thing. Steel Panther is a joke.
Right.
They're playing a part of a kind of a sexist rock band, tongue-in-cheek, 1985 Poison, Motley Crue type deal. So obviously he was being kind of tongue-in-cheek.
Right.
What
else would they have named this?
Well, eventually they said, well, if you want us to name it something else, we'll name it the Butthole Burner.
I mean, it's already like a hot sauce flavor, so I feel like you probably can't use that.
Yeah, that's probably taken.
I think she's just jealous because she hasn't thought of something involving dick.
Yeah, the snake charmer. Boom, win, victory.
That's good.
Thank you. You can use that. I don't know. I mean, I understand her point in the sense, this is bad, but I mean, if I saw that, I'd just be like, okay, this is stupid. And then I just move on.
Does it really affect your life that much?
I don't know. Apparently she feels that this promotes sexism in the guitar world.
I feel just fine.
You feel just fine. You're okay. You're just like, okay, the fact that there is a guitar tone out there called Pussy Melter did not make your life any harder.
Yeah, no. I think that probably people are going to continue acting the same exact way that they have forever.
But are you against it? Would you feel that the world is a better place if there was no such thing as a guitar tone called Pussy Melter?
Nope, I'd feel the same way, regardless.
So you're just
doesn't change my life.
Just live your life is what you're saying.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't mind it.
Okay, you were about to say you think it's funny.
Yeah, I mean, I do think it's funny. I think that it goes very well with their branding.
Yeah. And by the way, what they did, so then the company that put it on the website said, okay, fine, we'll take it off. So what they did, and the reason why I found out about this is INC Magazine, which is like a Forbes-type magazine for business, they took it off the market. They eventually found someone who made it into an actual pedal for a guitar player, and now they're selling it on their website as a whole pedal, and they're flying out. And
oh my God.
And now they're saying that the fact that this person made this big commotion about their Pussy Melter brand has made it that it's now 10 times more profitable than they could have obviously done.
She probably really regrets that.
That's one thing that sometimes you have to do when you see some scumbag is just kind of, if you don't agree with somebody, just kind of like, oh, okay, great.
Also, the fact that you're bringing it into the light, like you're just making things worse.
Yeah,
because now it's more well known than it would have been before if you hadn't said anything about it and like brought all this controversy to it.
Yeah, me and Alex would not have been looking through Guitar World magazine to find this out.
No.
Now we know about it.
Yeah.
Then they interviewed the people from Steel Panther, and they said, we have actually had people come on our website and say, I don't play guitar, I have no use for this, but I think it's funny, I'm buying it.
Yeah.
And it's like $200.
Yeah.
It's not something cheap.
You want to get one for the show?
Just have a Pussy Melter. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Oh, jeez.
Maybe Yeti will come out with one. Anyway, so that's a good thing.
I'm so glad this is our show.
I'm pretty happy with it. Another thing that I'm pretty happy with is the fact that this is the last year of The Big Bang Theory.
Oh, hell yeah. I was sad that you didn't talk about this last week, and I was like, we need to talk. We need to discuss this.
Okay, so this is the last year of The Big Bang Theory, year 12, which makes it one of the longest-running multi-camera sitcoms of all time.
How the hell?
I don't know. Anyways, the thing that got me, again, every show eventually ends. So, fine, this one's ending. I didn't watch the show. I've seen, like, bits and pieces, like, during the week. I've always found it to be kind of It wasn't
Terrible.
overwhelmingly, okay, it sucks. But the thing that got me was the person who's actually ending it is Jim Parsons, the guy who's Sheldon.
Yeah.
He wants to do other things. So he has 2 more years on his contract. He said flat out, I don't care. I want out of this. They estimate that the fact that he wouldn't do this for another 2 years is going to cost him over $50 million.
What?
That's how much, because he gets paid over $1 million an episode. That's 22 episodes, $22 million a year.
Jesus.
So 2 years plus profit from syndication of those 2 more years. They estimate that his decision to not want to have to do this anymore means that he will forego possibly upwards of $50 million.
Don't you think that says something about the show? If someone on the show hates it so much that they're willing to pay $50 million
Or not get $50 million.
Yeah, or not get $50 million to make it stop. Like, maybe it's not a good show.
Well, but the legend is that Jerry Seinfeld turned down almost over $100 million to do 1 more year of Seinfeld.
Yeah, yeah, but he was probably like, oh, I got enough money.
Well, that's what the point with Jim Parsons is, the fact of, like, I knew he had done well.
Yeah.
But the fact that he's at a point to where someone his agent had to have been like, dude, this is $50 million. All you have to do is play Sheldon for 2 more years. He's like, no, I don't want to do this.
I cannot do this anymore.
Yeah.
The thing that bothers me about this is that they have been on longer than Friends was on.
Oh, way longer.
Well, Friends was 10 seasons.
Yeah, they're in the 12.
Yeah.
I mean, that's 22. That's over, it's 44 episodes more.
Why?
Why? I don't. But it's network television. People have to remember, network television, especially these days, you don't watch much network television.
No.
I don't watch much network television. Our parents watch network television. So essentially, this is a comedy for people who are home and watch network television
And
at
have
9
no
o'clock.
lives. My parents don't even watch network television.
My mom watches Blue Bloods, but she watches it on Netflix.
Yep. My parents do too.
Yeah, honestly, it's just Tom Selleck's mustache.
Hell yeah. That's the only reason I watch it.
Yeah. I don't think my mom's ever. I think I've caught my mom watching Big Bang Theory. Okay. All right. So let's
My
ask
parents
this.
would never.
Yeah. I've caught my mom a couple times. You know. But let me ask you this question: Big Bang Theory or 2.5 Men?
Oh, Jesus Christ. I think I'd have to pick 2.5 Men.
Really?
Yeah.
I would have to say that of the 2 shows, I got to give it up for Charlie Sheen. Crazy, mother, but you know what? Occasionally he could be.
At least there's
chicks.
Yeah.
Hot chicks. Just insanely hot chicks. Whenever it's on in the gym, it does grab your attention, because I'll be like on the elliptical and all of a sudden like some insanely beautiful woman in lingerie is sitting next to Charlie Sheen in the freaking scene,
Yeah,
and I'm just like, okay, I can see why that's popular.
I get it.
I get that.
Yeah.
But Big Bang Theory, not so much.
Nope.
12 years, 20. The point of this show is almost like to the point of like, there's another story that just proves that I need to make money. I don't make any money. I gotta make money, because guess what? Jamel Hill, who's on ESPN, a couple years ago they decided to revamp the 6 p.m. Sports Center. Now, Sports Center, it was just when I was a kid, Sports Center was just the news. Like, had its sports at the end of the newscast. They just made it the whole newscast. That's
Right.
what the point of Sports Center was supposed to be. They did that. They had, obviously Keith Olbermann and Dan Patrick and all these great people who were on it and made it really cool and all this kind of stuff. And that's when they figured out that, hey, we can maybe do some stuff with Sports Center and make it cool and hip and all this kind of stuff. So then they decided to turn the 6 p.m. Sports Center into like a cultural kind of show instead of talking about sports, and it did terribly.
Yeah.
So Jamel Hill, who was part of that, did other things, and they tried to use her. As of September 1st, she is no longer on ESPN. They mutually decided they didn't want to be with each other anymore. But it's come out that Jamel Hill got bought out of her contract and got $6 million to go away.
Damn, girl.
I want to be that good and bad simultaneously at my job that someone will pay me $6 million to go away.
Yeah. I mean, I just want maybe someone to pay me $6 million for really anything.
But like,
yeah, for that fact, yes.
Well, then the other thing is like ESPN, which is hemorrhaging money, is cutting staff. Michelle Beal, or Beal, or whatever her name is. She was on a show in the late afternoon that no one cared about. It was Sports Nation. 5 people watched it. No one cared. All of a sudden, one of the people's decide, like, hey, we're going to move we're going to have a sports morning show. We're going to put it in New York. We're going to spend $10 million on a stage. And we're going to have you and Hank Greenberg and Jalen Rose talk about sports. And she was like, no, I don't want to do this. Eventually, they pay her $5 million to do this. Between the 3 of those, they got paid $14 million a year to do this show where they sit around and just jabber about sports aimlessly. The show gets no ratings. It's down like 30% from 7 a.m. Sports Center from last year. Now she's like, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore, whatever. So now they're going to pay her $5 million a year to move to L.A. and do a post-game NBA show during the NBA season on ESPN.
Ooh. That sounds super exciting.
It's the definition of failing upwards. She had a terrible show. It failed miserably. Oh, here's more money to move to L.A. and do a post-game NBA show. This is what I need.
At least she gets a change of scenery, you know?
Yeah, I want to be so good and bad at a job simultaneously. But, like, I want Brian to pay me $7 million to stop doing this show. That's what he's right over there in the other room.
We'll see it.
I want him to sit there.
Happen.
I want him to just go, here's millions of dollars. Stop doing this show once a week. Alex wants to do something else. Please, we'll pay Alex $5. We'll just pay Alex, both of you, $7. Just stop coming to Mr. Smalls every week. That's what I want. To be so good to eventually get the contract, but so bad that they fire you. I need that. But I don't have it. But you know what I also do have? I have a great name, The Mike Sasson Show. It's a great name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I like it. I've never even thought about having a fake name until today. There was a high school kid, sophomore, quarterback, 6'2", 200 pounds, rifle for an arm. Everybody likes him. But you know what people love about him? His name.
Why?
His name is General Booty.
Oh.
That is the sweetest name in the world.
Clarify for me. Is his last name Booty?
Yep. His first name's General. His name's General Booty.
Who the shit's last name is Booty?
Booty. There's a lot of Booties. There's you're not a sports fan, so you don't remember. There was John David Booty. He played like quarterback at LSU. He's like his like uncle or something. Then he had like another guy who was John Booty. He played like wide receiver or something like that.
You better believe that if I ever have a child, that I am naming them something ridiculous like that.
Yeah. But would you name, okay, if I came up to you and be like, hi, my name's Mike Booty. You'd be like, I got to marry this dude. He's got a sweet name. I could be Alex Booty.
Yep.
That'd be a sweet name, Alex Booty. That's almost like a movie like, hey, what's this movie's called? It's got Alex's Booty.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want to
I do definitely want to marry into a, see, this is what I want to do.
Would you marry into the Booties?
Marry into the Booties. Have a couple kids so that they have that last name and then get divorced.
Yeah, because you're like, you know what? I got enough of the Booty.
Yeah.
Everyone
and then
just,
I just like hyphenate my name.
Yeah. Booty Clemens.
Yeah.
Alex Booty Clemens.
Yeah. Or
now you sound like a funk bassist.
I do.
Like it's Alex Booty Clemens.
Yeah.
But the Booty family. At some point, Booty didn't mean ass. It meant like gold and stuff like that. At some point, it meant something different.
Yeah. And
but now it's just ass.
You know us. We change things for the better.
Yeah. But then his first name's General. Name's
like
General
name.
Sasson. That's a sweet name, but not General Booty.
General
name.
anything is cool.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. Anyway, so moving on. That was News and Notes. It was a great moment in everyone's life. So thank you very much to everyone. Now, did anyone comment on the show, Alex?
Yeah. We have a couple comments.
Okay, thank you for being very enthusiastic
I'm
about it.
so excited.
Yeah, it is Bar Thoughts and Experiences with Alex. Let's play the song.
It's not Bar Thoughts and Experiences.
Okay, whatever. It's comment your ass off. I'm even
You
getting
just got
confused.
everyone so excited, and then they're like, damn it.
Oh, before we leave, I forgot this story.
What?
They're making 2 simultaneous Joker movies.
Cool.
Why?
I don't know.
Alec Baldwin is going to play Bruce Wayne's dad, James Wayne, in a Joker movie.
Huh.
Why?
That's cool.
Why do we need 2 Joker movies?
That's real cool.
Why? You haven't answered said question. Why do we need 2 Joker movies?
We don't. That's the answer.
Okay, but why do we keep what?
Give up, guys.
Yeah.
Give up.
They're going to make $55 million budget just to make a Joker. How Joker became the Joker. Why? I don't care how Joker became the Joker.
Me neither. But we do have some comments about people who care about the show.
Okay.
Sam, he commented and asked so many questions about, he just really loves us, and he wants us to know if we're ever going to be on DVD. How great would that be? I'm saying that.
Okay.
Also, he wants to know if Mike Sasson Show T-shirts or coffee mugs are available to the public.
We should make them.
We're working on it.
We should get merch.
Yeah, and we just we have a suitcase that we carry around with us. Like, I just carry it to bars with me, and I just set it up next to me on the bar. I'm like, hey, want to buy some Mike Sasson Show shirts?
Here's the thing, like a lot of comedians, that's one of the things I always talk about is you need merch, because that's like if you go to the Improv, if you're a headliner, typically you can make like $1,500 to $2,000, pretty good. But you sell T-shirts or you sell DVDs, and you can make an extra $1,000 doing that.
Right.
That's one of the reasons why I haven't been like real thrilled about touring. Is I would hate to just like, oh, you want a T-shirt? Because a lot of times they like promote the T-shirt during the show.
Yeah.
Like they'll be like, hey, if you like the show, here's a T-shirt. And I'm just like, oh, don't do that. But yeah, if you want to buy a T-shirt, just send me money and I will give you a T-shirt.
Just one off. It would obviously be a black T-shirt.
Yeah, I'll just give you a black T-shirt and I'll sign it and we'll go from there. I had a buddy who...
You'll sign it with black ink?
Yeah. This one's signed. This is a Mike Sasson Show T-shirt. So Alex is wearing a Mike Sasson Show T-shirt.
Yeah, we got them on today.
Yeah, this is
what they are.
Yeah.
Just plain black.
Honestly,
signed by both of us.
A buddy of mine
black
at
ink.
one time said that he... somebody came up to him and was just like, hey, do you have merch? And he goes, yeah, I got T-shirts. And he just went over to Walmart and just bought a bunch of Hanes T-shirts and then laid them out and then sold them for like, the whole box was like $5. He sold them for $5 a piece and people bought them.
Why though?
Because people are freaking stupid.
I would have like rubbed them on my body first at least.
Ew. That's what strippers do.
You want people to have a piece of you, you know?
But that's what literally strippers do. If they have T-shirts at the strip club and they like are featured dancers, they rub themselves and they throw it out. What?
They sell T-shirts at strip clubs?
If you're a featured dancer, they will have like T-shirts.
Like they have merch?
Yeah. Why wouldn't they?
What?
Yeah, of course.
Why do I not know this?
Why would you ever have known this?
I don't know. Anyways, last comment is, do you plan to have contests with big prizes? We always plan to have Jello contests, like Jello fights.
But we can't afford the plastic to lay down.
It will happen one day.
One day we're
in the
out
Mike Sasson Show. Probably our last episode, whenever we end this thing.
Yeah.
Our last episode, we're going to have the biggest Jello fight.
Would it be you
ever.
and me in a Jello fight?
Ew, no.
Okay.
I'm just, I don't know. That sounds real. You have a lot of hair, and I feel like it would be in the Jello.
I'm not saying I would be. I wouldn't. I'm not saying that I would be unfully clothed.
No, I don't mean that. I'm saying just all over your body. You have a lot of hair, and I just see it all in the Jello, and it kind of grosses me out.
You know how good it feels when another human being says that your body's gross?
I didn't say that. I just
Yeah,
said that the hair on your body
totally fucking did.
just the hair.
Yep.
The hair part.
Yeah,
Everyone has hair. It's
Yeah.
just you have a lot more of it.
Yeah, that's great. All right. Anybody else comment on the show?
No,
Okay, great.
I did.
Okay, yeah, you did. You said you said your host is ugly. Anyways, here is what we're going to do.
What?
This past weekend, John McCain passed away.
Yes.
And great American. And he actually, and this is what I'm going to do too. I'm going to write a letter that I want someone to read after I'm dead.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, definitely doing that. So this is his. And so I'm going to read it.
Okay.
Okay. So everyone needs to, hum something. My fellow Americans, who I have greatly served for 60 years, and especially my fellow Arizonians, thank you for the privilege of serving you and for the rewarding life that service in uniform and in public office has allowed me to lead. I have tried to serve our country honorably. I have made mistakes, but I hope my love for America will be weighed favorably against them. I have often observed that I am the luckiest person on earth. It's the guy who spent 5 years in a Vietnamese prison camp. So just to put that into perspective. I feel that way even now as I prepare for the end of my life. I have loved my life, all of it. I have had experiences, adventures, friendships, enough for 10 satisfying lives. I am so thankful. Like most people, I have regrets, but I would not trade a day of my life in good or bad times for the best days of anyone else's. I owe that satisfaction to the love of my family. No man has ever had more loving wife or children. He was prouder of them than mine. I owe it to America to be connected to America's causes. Liberty, equal justice, respect for the dignity of all people brings happiness more sublime than life's fleeting pleasures. Our identities and sense of worth are not circumvented by servicing good causes bigger than ourselves. Fellow Americans, that association has meant more to me than any other. I lived and died a proud American. We are citizens of the world's greatest republic, a nation of ideals, not blood and soil. We are blessed, and we are a blessing to humanity when we uphold and advance those ideals at home in the world. We have helped liberate more people from tyranny and poverty than ever before in history. We have acquired great wealth and power in the process. We weaken our greatness when we confuse our patriotism with tribal rivalries that have sown resentment and hatred and violence in all corners of the globe. We weaken it when we hide behind walls rather than tear them down, when we doubt the power of our ideals rather than trust them to be a great force for change they have always been. We are 325 million opinionated, vociferous individuals. I don't know that word. We argue and compete and sometimes even vilify each other in our raucous public debates, but we have always had so much more in common with each other than disagreements. If we only remember that we give each other the benefit of the presumption that we all love our country, we will get through these challenging times. We will come through them stronger than before. We always do. 10 years ago, I had the privilege to concede defeat in the election for president. I want to end my farewell to you with a heartfelt faith in America that I felt so powerful that evening. I feel it powerfully still. Do not despair of our present difficulties, but believe always in the promise and greatness of America, because nothing is inevitable here. Americans never quit. We never surrender. We never hide from history. We make history. Farewell, fellow Americans. God bless you, and God bless America. I will end with this. I've heard too many times people saying over the past weekend that they don't make people like John McCain anymore. Yes, they do. It's our job to find them. My name's Mike Sasson. This is the Mike Sasson Show. Thank you very much to everyone listening and watching out there on the River's Edge. Keep listening on www.riversedgepgh.com. And thank you very much to the greatest producer in the history of internet radio, Alex Clemens. Thank you. And if you are said person who went on first and second date with Alex, lucky man. Anyways, see you later. We'll see you next week. Bye.